Hi, it's Grant Abbott, SMSF Guru. So what is the self-managed super fund? Well, since 1994, and I've been around a long time, so don't let that dissuade you, essentially allows a family of up to 6 people, or mum and dad, or a couple of friends, to put money into their own superannuation fund. Australia's pretty lucky in that regard, so rather than giving it off to these faceless people in these big union funds or the big bank funds, you can actually take control of your own money. There's been a lot of studies, and the main reason people take their money out of these retail industry funds is they can control it. So they can invest in things like property, they can invest in shares, they can invest in cryptocurrency. How do I start a self-managed super fund? That's typically, I get that question all the time. Well, the first thing is you've got to go to your existing superannuation provider, whether it's a bank, industry fund, AusSuper, and find out what your balance is worth. Most of you are going to have an electronic login. I think you're going to actually be surprised how much money you've got. The next step is either go to an accountant or come to LY Legal, which is a firm that I work for, and we'll set you up a self-managed superannuation fund. So that generally requires to set up a trustee, a document, and a corporate trustee where you act as trustee, which you need to so you can make those investments. We get an Australian business number because it's a business style operation, a tax file number, get a bank account, and then you're off and running. You used to be able to do it in a day, but now it takes about 5 or 6 weeks because the Commission of Taxation is just a little bit slow and is taking a lot more time monitoring it. But it's as easy as anything. How much do you need as a minimum in order to set up a self-managed super fund? Well, really it depends on your age. I mean, if you're 65, you've got $200,000 in superannuation now, well, I wouldn't do that. If you're 30 and you've only got 10,000 or 15,000, I wouldn't do that. But if you're 30 and you and your spouse, remember we can have up to 6 people inside these funds, you've got up around about 100, 150, 200, then absolutely, you're definitely right in the right place. Because again, remember, it's not investment, it's capital. Because if you've got a couple $100,000, you and your spouse, and then you go and borrow $800,000 to buy $1 million worth of property, suddenly you're an SMSF millionaire, just like that. Whereas if you've got $200,000 in a retail industry fund, you're not going to get there very quickly. Did you know negative gearing inside a self-managed super fund is 10x better than negative gearing outside? So why is that? Well, first off, outside you've got to build up a deposit, which is usually your after-tax money. Whereas the deposit you're building up inside your self-managed super fund is from employer tax-deductible super, or extra super you put in as tax deductions. Now, how good's that? Tax deductions to build up a deposit. Second thing is usually once that is paid off and you're going to hold it for retirement, if you're 65 outside and you've got 2 or 3 properties sitting outside self-managed super fund, then you're going to pay capital gains tax if you decide to sell the properties, and also tax on any rental income. Inside the self-managed super fund, if you've set up a pension once you're over 60 or you're retired, when you get that income, it's tax-free. When you pull it outside the fund, it's tax-free. And when you sell it, it's also going to be capital gains tax-free. So it's night and day, you know, effectively 10x better to always negatively gear inside a SMSF. You can have 6, oh look, there's 7, you can have 6 members inside a self-managed super fund. Younger people ask me, should I go into my parents' SMSF? Absolutely. One is they're actually going to pay all your fees, so that's a good one. The other side is you don't have to go in with their investment philosophy. Let them do their own thing. If they want to get shares and all that stuff, let them do that. You can actually invest in your own stuff. You have your own little partition in there. It's like your own little room or sub-trust sitting inside a self-managed super fund where you can borrow, buy property, you can put in crypto, you can do whatever you want. So again, depends how close you are with your family, but it makes sense. I've always, along with my brothers, always been in our family SMSF. Life insurance, inside or outside the fund? Always inside the fund. Why is that? The fund gets a tax deduction for your super. So for example, I can put in my salary sacrifice contributions, my employer contributions. They go in and pay my insurance premium. So then it's a tax deduction, which is fantastic. Next step along the way, if I have to, my self-managed super makes a claim on my insurance, which means that I've either passed away or I've got total permanent disability, then what will happen there is that money will come into the fund and it's effectively tax-free. When it gets paid out, some certain tax concessions there, but inside the fund will get a tax deduction for that payout. So again, all the way down. It's so much better having life insurance inside the fund, and practically also makes sense. If you're a young family, you want to have that life insurance. It can make a huge difference to your family. Can my self-managed super fund invest in cryptocurrency? Absolutely. The only thing you've got to be very careful about is essentially the cryptocurrency. You've got to buy it directly from your coin exchange or wherever you're getting it. You can't transfer it in from yourself. There's rules against the trustee of the fund, which is yourself, acquiring an asset off yourself unless it's business real property like a farm or a bed and breakfast or stuff. But cryptocurrency, you can go out and buy it, but you need to make sure you have a good investment strategy. It's a requirement each year to put in place an investment strategy inside the fund. In this one, you really need to make sure that you've got one that really countenances and looks at all the ins and outs of having a cryptocurrency inside the fund. Now, I've seen some people make an absolute fortune on cryptocurrencies inside self-managed superannuation funds, but then I've also seen people who have lost a lot of money. So again, it's up to you. That's a good thing about a self-managed super fund. It's your investment. You make your investment decisions. You're the best one, and after all, it is your money. It's not the government's money, and it's not your employer's money. It's yours, and that's why an SMSF is so powerful. Grant Abbott, SMSF Guru, signing off.